I know in the landscaping industry, there's a massive stigma about alcoholism, drugs, hiring felons, and just having bum, cheap labor. Let's have a little talk. All right. When I started this channel, I kind of wanted it to be strictly business oriented. I don't know as if that's feasible for me. I want to make my living off of my passion, not the industry that is outlined in the textbooks. I don't sell jobs based on textbook sales mythology. I don't believe in treating customers like prospects. I don't believe in competing with your next door neighbor who happens to be in the same industry as you. My neighbor right over the fence, he's a tree guy. I like to think of myself as a tree guy as well. I know there's a lot more experienced people out there, but I'm a tree guy. I love wood. I love chainsaws. I love climbing. I love the smell of a two-stroke engine. I do. I like working on them. I like troubleshooting. And the reason why I love doing that is because I get to learn every day. I love to learn. And if I'm competing with my neighbor, I'm not going to learn anything that he may know that I don't, and vice versa. There's a feeling that comes over you when you approach a client with certainty. When you have certainty that you know how to solve their problem, whether it's mowing the lawn or removing a dangerous tree from over the house, you show it here, right? And they see it, right? You know that you've done it. You've put in the time. You've read. You've tried. You've failed. You've pulled it off. And they see that. So when you walk up to a customer's house and you blab off at the mouth with your sales pitch, right? They're thinking, this is the sales pitch. What I've been trying to do the last couple of years is walk up to a customer, because they're already my customer. Whether I've sold them anything or not, they're my customer. Because while I'm on their property, I'm gonna take care of them. If they're in a bad mood, or if I could tell there's, maybe something just weighing on them, you can see it in people's faces. I'm going to try to provide them value. I'm gonna try to make them feel better. I'm gonna try to make sure that they have a smile on their face when I leave. I don't know where it comes from. Maybe I grew up in my grandparents' house, taking care of them. They had hospital beds in our house. My grandfather was an amputee. They were both alcoholics. I'm an addict at heart. I'm an obsessive person. I have an obsessive personality. But in the recent years, I have severely cleaned up my act for the most part and put it towards growing as a human being and being kind to others. So if you guys are out there and you're wondering if you're ever gonna leave that dead-end job, if you're wondering, am I better than this? You probably are. Most people ask themselves, am I better than this? And some other people would tell you, oh no, if you have to ask, you're not. No, because people who aren't better, they don't think of these things. They don't question themselves at all. They just do it and they think they know the answers to everything. I know in the landscaping industry, there's a massive stigma about alcoholism, drugs, hiring felons, and just having bum, cheap labor. I want to change the industry stigma, at least in my area. I don't want people seeing a big, rusty, beat-up truck pulling up to their lawn with guys smoking cigarettes and, breath smelling like vodka, cutting their lawn or climbing their trees. I wanna do this right. I wanna provide people a service that they remember when I leave. And I know you guys do too. Make sure you start really, really trying to take the high road every single chance you get tested, you'll try to justify taking the shortcut. You'll try to justify popping off at the mouth and arguing with your boss or arguing with your buddies. Don't do it. I feel like a lot of us addicts and recovered or not, I feel like we always feel like we have something to prove that we're never gonna be able to prove, and that's a fear-based problem. I work a full-time day job right now, and I'm transitioning into working on my own. I'm also a father-to-be, so there's a lot of things that are on my plate right now. There's a lot of things that take up my time, and most of all, take up my mental space. It's really hard for me to focus on my day job right now when I'm so passionate about tree work and landscaping and growing things, and not just growing vegetables or plants and trees, growing myself. Every day I'm trying to be a little bit better. And recently I've faced the true cold hard fact that I'm not going to be a whole lot better every single day. This takes work. It takes a lot of work. And I don't know if any of you guys out there know much about addiction, but I come from an alcoholic family, okay? It runs heavily in my mother's side. I had a back injury when I was much younger, and it really, really messed me up. I got prescribed pain pills. None of my family really knew about pain pills or pain pill addiction. So I was about 14 years old getting these pain pills all the time. And I didn't know that I was addicted really until the day my pharmacy wouldn't fill them. I became really, really sick. I became very, very dependent on them fast. And being a young kid, 14, 15 years old, I didn't know what to do or what to tell my doctor was going on. I just said, hey, the pain is back, because I didn't know about withdrawal. I didn't know that when you stop taking a pain pill that you're addicted to, that your pain in your body is amplified. I had no idea. So I just thought the pain got worse. I just thought that the pain pills didn't work. So they switched me around to a bunch of different meds, combinations of meds that I later on found out were lethal, in combination. And needless to say, guys, the pain pill addiction has run my life. I'm 29 years old now. I am off pain pills. I still struggle with addiction, but I'm not out on the streets. I'm not, and I truly believe that no matter what, there's no excuse for the things that I've been through. I think that if I wasn't an addict at heart, or that addictive personality who just, as soon as they get something, they're looking for more, they're never satisfied, I think that maybe I could have lived my life up to this point without battling addiction. I never really cared about drinking much. Yeah, I drank as a teenager. The main part that you should keep in mind when we transition into this next part of the conversation is that when you have a serious prescription addiction or any addiction, it runs your life. You're shackled to it. I couldn't go on camping trips if I was about to run out of my meds. I couldn't go on any trips. I couldn't do anything. If the world ended and like the pharmacies were to shut down and there was a zombie apocalypse, I would be screwed. I would literally be screwed. And the stuff that I was on builds up in your system and in your bones and in your fat and in your protein. It attacks everything. And I literally remember feeling like glass, like my bones were made of glass for almost a year while I kicked the pain meds. If you guys really want to know what it is, go ahead and message me. We can talk a little bit more, but I don't think I'm really ready to put all of that out there yet. I just know that there's some guys out there who are going through what I've been through, and it could probably help to hear somebody else talk about it. We need to take the blanket off this situation, because addiction shouldn't be a shameful thing. There are plenty of resources, but there needs to be people willing to talk about it. So let's get back to the video. But what I want to tell you is that When I decided to finally get over that hurdle and start replacing that addictive, relentless pushing, trying, struggling, figuring out a way to get that fix, I created a business. I created a business plan. I've brought in income for me and my wife. I have brought in so much more mental stability, because instead of always throughout the day just feeling bad and wanting to feel better and leaning on substance to do so, now I put that energy into filing chainsaws, learning something about my industry, selling jobs. I've found that I'm very passionate about selling jobs. I love to help people. When you can boil it all down to helping people, the rest is just, it's self-explanatory. It sells itself, right? A customer has a problem, you sell them the solution, all right? I didn't want to make this video about drugs or anything like that and about, my addiction. I just wanted to tell you guys that, look, I know there's some of you out there who are battling with the same problems that I am, the same problems. You're coming from the same single parent or no parent households, and you don't really have the tools, right? You don't really have the tools to go out and clean your act up and get on a path, right? I used to never think I could run my own business, right? But primarily that was because I come from a state of Maine where the businesses that I wanted to run only ran during the summer, and then wintertime everything shuts down. But fortunately, a series of events happened in my life, like my sister begging me to come down to Florida. And Florida's not a place where I ever thought that I would live, but she begged me to come down to Florida, and I did move here, and I instantly realized two things. I miss home, right? I'm a country boy at heart. I love my wide open spaces. Florida, there's a lot more regulations and rules. But number two, there's opportunity. And I realized that I don't have to retire and die a Floridian, because I'll never be a Floridian. I'm a northern boy. But I can build something here, right? There's better schools here for my son. There's an infinite amount of work. Most entrepreneurs, when they go into a line of working for themselves, they're so afraid that there's not going to be work. But I've recently figured out that I'm obsessed with being free. I am. And I'm obsessed with chasing kindness. I want to be kind to people. Because guess what? When you're kind to people, whether they're kind back to you or not, that energy is out there. The energy's out there, and it's gonna come back to you. Trust me. Trust me, it will. So, what I just wanted to wrap this up with is I want to reach out. This is part of this channel, okay? It's not just about my business. I want to reach out, and I want to offer, if you're facing any type of addiction, if you know an addict and you're just wanting some information, wanting some help, I can't be anybody's sponsor because, hell, I probably need my own. But if you'd just like to speak, please speak. Put it in the comments. My email's on my channel. Email me. I want everybody to start communicating in the comments because I want people to have community. The best thing when it comes to overcoming obstacles, whether it's food addiction, drug addiction, alcohol, whatever it is, an addictive type of behavior, doesn't have to be substances, is community. And not just having one support system, but having several, a combination of multiple. That's what's gonna help you out. I literally just want you people out there to know who are struggling and think that there's nothing more for you. There is. And would you like to know why I do this, why I recorded this video? I recorded this video because it helps me. Knowing that I could possibly impact somebody helps me, okay? So if you're around people who are enabling you, try to step away, okay? Try to step away from those people. Go through it. Just go through the pain and try to go the better, higher road. It will pay off. It will pay off. Things didn't change for me until I met my wife, right? I had thought a million times that I had been doing better in my life, but I couldn't hold a flame to anybody that I admired because I was so far away mentally, right? There are just certain things that I can't do and that I won't do and have really very little interest in doing. I don't drink, not at all. Don't care to. I just don't. Not that it's a gateway, not that it leads me to do other things. I just don't care. Guys, that's just what works for me. Everybody knows somebody who's struggling with addiction. Everyone. So let's uncover that, right? It's not something we hide from. I've been to the doctor 5 million times, and most of the times when I go there, when I was taking these prescription pain pills, most of my adulthood, I was taking them in excess, right? Every time I'd go to the doctors and they'd ask you, hey, what prescriptions are you on? And I'd tell them, they'd say, oh, well, you know that it's addicting, right? Their whole demeanor changed. They started treating me like a junkie. And I want everybody to know that that doesn't have to be the case. You're not a junkie, right? If you believe that you have something to offer, go chase it. Go chase it. If you're 40, 50, 60 years old, doesn't matter, it's never too late. It's about the mindset you die with. And if I die right now, it's with a warrior mindset. I'm not going out without a fight. So I want you guys to know I'm here. This is more than landscaping. I'm not just a how-to channel. I go deep. I go real deep. And maybe it's too deep for some people, but the true blues, the people who are really here for what I stand for, you'll be here. So if any of you folks out there are struggling with any type of addiction and you truly do want to get better, do two things for yourself and the people who love you. And if you don't think there's any people out there who love you, you're wrong. There's always somebody. There's always somebody. Maybe you forgot who they were, but there's always somebody. Don't rush. Don't rush your sobriety. Don't rush overnight. You're not going to have that, right? Number two, just stay safe and stay alive. Make sure all the things you use are clean. Make sure that people know